Hi YouTube, it's me TFL Wellness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the first of this month's reviews, where I review a Korean toy that I've picked up. And yes, it's that figure. That figure that I tried to buy last month, and I had a lot of grief trying to get it out of Gmarket because, you know, I tried to buy this figure off the same seller twice in a row. Both times they cancelled my order, refunded me my money, claiming that the figure was out of stock. And yet when I did my sort of looking into it, my investigation, I found out that, well, when I did the initial order, the seller, the website said there was still some stock remaining, even though it was low stock. And then the second time, when I went into the details of the items that were for sale on the site, they were under two separate auction numbers, which means the seller relisted it directly after he'd cancelled my order, relisted it again because he still had some stock he was trying to sell. I bought it again for the second time, second day on the trot, same palaver, same nonsense. You know, it's... He cancelled they cancelled my order, and I got royally pissed off. Yeah, so I had a lot of grief trying to get this figure out of Gmarket last month. I lost money on the deal because I originally did it as a basket order with the other two figures that I got. I lost money on the shipping. I lost money on the PayPal fee. I lost a lot. I don't know exactly how much money I lost, but I did lose a load of money. And it just irritated me no end. And the actual figure itself, I mean, I don't care much for the way it looks. And this replacement toy that I bought this month, I still had to pay over the odds to get one, because this figure, for some reason, has been super popular with children of South Korea, and it has sold out virtually everywhere. There's a few left online with sellers on Gmarket, 11th Street and that, and eBay, and they're going for outrageous scalper prices, up to double what these figures usually retail for. So that's another knock against this figure, and those two things alone are enough to ruin my opinion of this figure that I'm about to review for you. And I can say now without a shadow of a doubt, this is the worst bot I've got this month. And I still haven't got all the stuff that I bought this month. So anyway, who am I talking about? Let's show you the box. Right. As I've recently been buying all the figures from the... Well, decided I wanted to buy all the toys from the Hello Carbot Season 11, the Samba toy line. I've been working my way through. And they've got the 6 basic sort of Samba figures. There was the 2 animal Carbots, which I've already got and reviewed. And then there's the combiner, which has a bit of everything in it, and it's also a horrendous parts former. So yeah, got that to look forward to next month. Right, so the box. Here it is. So say hello to Hello Carbot Samba Max Dozer. Yes, so this is the guy. I had so much grief trying to get hold of one last month. Finally got one. This is the box. Typical Hello Carbot Samba box. Very tall, very thin box. It's got a lot of graphics on the front, CGI renders of the character from the show in his sort of Samba combined mode. Then in his alt mode, you got Chatan, with the watch, and it's the little chip that goes in the watch and makes lights and sounds. On the side, you got pictures of the various modes. Same on the opposite side. You've got all the product information on the bottom, which is of interest to certain people, and then you've got this graphic on the back that shows the mix and match nature of the Samba gimmick, which is the reason why I went in on this toy line. So anyway, that's the box. Inside the box you get a set of black and white instructions, and you get the little chip which goes in the watch. You turn the dial, ding, it plays music, makes noises, sound effects, voice clips, all that stuff. I haven't got that, so I can't show it to you. So here he is, right? Now here he is in his alt mode, which is a bulldozer, and you got to admit that is a really strange looking bulldozer. I mean, for start off, it's got a big scoopy bucket at the front, and then you've got oh sorry, it's that come up. It's got a big scoopy bucket at the front, and then you've got like the big sort of hydraulic arms that operate the bucket, and then you've got this huge hood or bonnet, and this is the windscreen of the bulldozer. And like when this guy's going driving along, sort of scooping up earth and bulldozing, how the hell is he supposed to see where he's going with all that massive vehicle like obstructing his view at the front? So yeah. Now, obviously, this toy has been super popular in Korea. At least I think so. It's sold out, and I reckon the reason why is because it transforms into a construction vehicle, and kids, as we know, love construction vehicles. Like diggers, bulldozers, excavators, dump trucks. They absolutely love them, and I think that's the reason why this figure has been more popular than any of the other toys from the line. And as a result, he's sold out. There's very few left around. Those sellers that have got them have realised this. The laws of supply and demand have pushed the price up, and you'll be lucky if you get one of these for like double the normal asking price. Anyway, so yeah, as you can see, it's a really weird looking bulldozer. He's got this big angular sort of box at the back with these big sort of ripping claws. You do get certain bulldozers that have these large, sort of ripping claws at the back where they just drive along and just rip the earth up. So, that is a feature that is on certain bulldozers. It's got some large exhaust stacks coming out the top. It's got moulded tracks down the side, but there is a bit of track detail down there. It's got the Carbot logo printed in each side. It's got warning stripes on it, because it's a construction vehicle. It's got to have those warning chevrons on it. Yeah, so it's a construction vehicle, right? Aesthetically, it's got a weird design for a bulldozer, but we'll let that go because of the nature of the Samba gimmick, where a chunk of the vehicle comes off to form the Samba animal. They had to design it this way, and you got to give them, you got to give them some slack for that. Now, it's fairly heavy. It's quite chunky, as you'd expect a construction toy to be, a construction vehicle toy. He does have, obviously, scrunch up robot underneath. He's got these things that peg underneath, if I can get them off. Right, there we go. Now, these are his accessories. They're like these little double drill things. Now, I have noticed you've got some screw holes in the side of the what's-it. You can, if you want, sort of plug them in there, like that. But why would you have drills up there when you've got a big dozer bucket down there? So, I don't know, we'll take them off and put them off to one side for a minute. It's got little wheels on it, so it does roll on a flat surface reasonably well. And yeah, not more I can say to it. It's a weird looking bulldozer, fairly typical, sort of construction vehicle. It's orange. It's got warning chevrons on it. It's got a big bucket. It's got hydraulic arms. It's got a cab, exhaust stacks, and a big rippy claw at the back. It's okay. Now, obviously, do a quick size comparison. I've got the Wave Mate from when these guys basically came out. They released these Samba figures. There's 6 in total for the normal Samba figures. They released them in 3 short waves of 2 figures each, and you had Red Weiler and Just Force for Wave 1. Max Dozer and Night Hopper for Wave 2, and then Wave 3 you had Sandbuster and Rock Cam. So there's the 2 together. Now earlier on, when I got this out and messed around with him, I went through and I pulled his Samba Beast off, and I went around and tried it on all the other vehicles. Now, that took a lot of time. I don't want to replicate that in this video. I'm just going to do it with Night Hopper. So if I pull Night Hopper's Samba Beast off, just show you the nature of this gimmick. So with Night Hopper, you end up with this sort of flatbed cab thing. And then Max Dozer, when you pull his Samba beast off, you get this little sort of like Dozer drone thing. Now, the whole point of this gimmick is that you can take the thing off one and put it on another. So you get this weird looking contraption. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it looks really weird. Now, one thing I will say about Max Dozer is the way that his alt mode is configured is different to the other vehicles. Most of the vehicles are like this. The back part of the vehicle comes off to form the Samba animal. You're left with a cab piece, and then when you go underneath, you can see it's the robot. The arms are up here, the legs are down here, and that's how it works. Max Dozer is back to front, and Rock Can is back to front as well, because his cab forms part of the Samba beast rather than the robot mode. So this guy, like I said, he's back to front. So the front of the vehicle should be here, but the bit that's left over, which is the legs, is the back of the vehicle. Now, you can put Rock Can's, I mean, you can put Max Dozer's thing on the back of this, and it looks kind of interesting, because when you do this, when you put Max Dozer's Samba animal, who's called Maxriller, because he's a gorilla, and he's Max Dozer's mate, so he's called Maxriller. You put it on the back of this, and it ends up with something that kind of looks like a recovery vehicle, like a heavy duty wrecker. Now, it works reasonably well on Nighthopper here, but you should see this on Red Wireless chassis. It looks beautiful. It really does suit Red Wireless chassis, because with that square cab and the red colour, and it just looks like one of those heavy duty highway wreckers you see on like motorways or freeways, where you get a truck breaks down, so you have this massive great converted truck pulls up, and they just hook it on, and then away they go. I reckon that's what it looks like. I mean, okay, yeah, it's got a bucket on the back, but you've got these large, hydraulic arms, which could be the boom. I just think it looks like a recovery vehicle. It looks like a heavy duty, wrecker truck. I really like that. But like you said, when you try it the other way round, you end up with that weird looking thing again. Like a little Dozer drone thing, and it just looks bizarre. So because of the way this thing is configured, the way the way he's back to front to the other figures, when you try to swap his Samba animal onto other vehicles, you get some weird results. And it's the same when you swap their vehicle chunks onto his vehicle mode, you get some weird results. So he's a bit strange in that respect. But right, let's get back to the main event. Right, now this is the bit you pull off. This is Maxriller. Now let's just turn him into a gorilla. So it's quite easy, really. You've got, just pull those legs down. You then, I think you separate the bucket, flip these arms round. No, you don't do it that way, do you? You do it, no, yeah, you do it that way. And there you have Maxriller. Now you can get these drilly things and put them on his shoulders, because there's some peg ports for them. And that is Maxriller in his robot mode. He looks cool. He looks pretty decent. He does kind of look like a gorilla. He's got the big, sort of knuckle dragger sort of arm sticking out the front with the, his arm, front knuckles made out the Dozer bucket. He's got his head here, which can move up and down a little bit. I kind of wished it folded into this black piece, but a bit more. But hey ho, it is what it is. He's got a little bit of sort of motion on the these back legs. Not much of one, but you know, it's got a little bit of motion there, and again it's got a little bit of motion with the joints on the front, so you know you can pour things and stuff. But anyway, it's half decent. There are much worse Samba beasts than this. I mean, Longo, the elephant with red wyler, you know, he hasn't even got any legs. He's just got these two flappy panels. And I actually watched a full episode of the show where, you know, Longo appears, and he basically just flies around with those flappy panels that are like wings. He doesn't actually use them as legs. So yeah, that explains why he hasn't got any proper legs, because he's a flying elephant. Go figure. Anyway, so Maxriller, he's a gorilla. He works, he's alright, he's pretty cool, he's not bad. So, put him to one side. Then, you get the Dozer man. Now, yeah, you look at him, he's just a bot scrunched up. So, transforming this is very, very simple. You can start with the arms. You've got the caterpillar tracks. They just fold back like that. The arms are on these shoulder links. You just unclip them and then bring them up like so, and that's basically the arms. And then you just got to do the legs. So you separate the legs, then you start folding things out. And then you just fold things forward, and then you rotate these, claw things down. They lock into place, and then you get a little bit of an A stance going on. And there's Max Dozer in his base robot mode. Now, as I said, I didn't care much for the aesthetic of this guy, and this is the main reason why I wasn't a huge fan of this figure. And if it wasn't for the fact that I wanted to collect the entire line of toys, I would have given this guy a miss. And the reason is this: if you look at his robot mode, you can see it's a very generic looking robot that you'd form from a construction vehicle. It's got a lot of those sort of orange chevron things on it. He's got these yellow bands there which make it look like he's wearing a high visibility vest, like a construction worker's vest. He's orange and blue. He's got like the diggy claws as his feet. I just think he's a very typical, very standard looking bot that you'd get from a construction vehicle. There's no major sort of surprises or you know, originality, shall we say, in his design, and that's why I've not been a huge fan of him to begin with. So yeah, he's a robot, like a bulldozer that turns in. Well, not even a full bulldozer, because don't forget this is a Samba figure, so he just turned in from a tracked drone into this thing. Now, articulation on this thing is a fairly typical affair. He's got a head rotation. He does have some light piping in his head, but it doesn't seem to work. Trust me. Now his shoulders are on these links, which can fold down and up, and they have a rotation joint there and a joint there which can go all the way up and all the way down. So he's got a bit of he's got some motion on his shoulders, and he hasn't got any bicep swivels. Hardly any Carbots do. They give you waist swivels. I mean thigh swivels. Sorry, you get those, but you don't get bicep swivels. But you can, with using these joints in combination, you can get a little bit of sort of inward motion on his arms. Now he has got an elbow, which is on a very, very coarse ratchet. there is nothing at the waist. The hips go forwards, they go back, they go outwards, you know, full Van Damme, 90 degrees. As you can hear, very loud ratchets. As I said before, 5 swivels. Nice deep knee bend, but that's due to transformation. And they can go slightly forwards as well. And then he has technically got some ankle tilt, but it's just the toes. It's not the actual, the base of the ankle itself. So yeah, there we go. Max Dozer's base robot mode. It's a bit plain, I think. It's a bit generic. It's exactly how you'd expect a construction toy to transform into a robot. You've also got what is he called? Giant Loader. Is it called Giant Loader? The Tobot V Season 3. That was it 07. That wheel loader that turns into a robot. I've got the same problem with him as well. He looks so typical for what he transforms into from what he transforms from. I've got the same issue with him. But anyway, quick size comparison with my usual sort of thing with Combiner Wars Megatron, who's a full-sized leader class figure. As you can see, these Samba figures are quite a bit smaller, and there we go. Now, I'll just quickly transform Nighthopper into her robot mode. Right, so there we go. There's Nighthopper, and you put them the two side by side. Like I said, they were wave mates. They both came out in the same wave. So there's Nighthopper and Max Dozer. Now, obviously, Max Dozer is a Samba figure. You plug his Samba Beast on the back to give him a power up. So you get Maxriller, and you start folding him back up. Take the drilly arms off, and then you get these things up like so, and then there's this hatch in the back with 2 H clips on either side, and then you've got the slotty thing with some 2 H clips, and that just clips on like that. And then you put the hat down, and there we have Max Dozer in his powered up mode. I mean, you can give him the double drillers in his arms just for effect. And there we go. And oh yeah, one last thing. Yeah, you do that. That symbolises the power up. That little plate in their chest changes to say, "I'm powered up by the gorilla guy." That's basically what it says. So there you go. There he is in his powered up mode. He does look actually pretty good with these, like with the the big digging buckets over the top of his head. I do appreciate that look. And when you have Maxriller's head come down over the top of his robot mode head, it looks like he's wearing a hard hat. It's got that about it. This does improve the look of the figure a little bit, I think. I think this mode does work. I do kind of like this mode. This mode looks pretty cool. It does improve the look of the figure a little bit. You've got a little bit more going on with all this stuff up here. And it improves the look of the figure a little bit. Makes him look a little bit more like a generic, construction bot. So yeah, there he is. It looks pretty cool. But again, it's the Samba gimmick. So Maxriller plugs in to Nighthopper and gives her a somewhat aggressive look. Oh yeah, you've got to put the head down. There we go. And you do the like that. So yeah, so when you look at it on her, I mean, obviously she's now got these big things on the top. It looks all right. Doesn't really suit her so much, mainly because of she's got all the whites and the blues going on. Then you've got all this pink and silver going on, which doesn't really. It kind of clashes with her colour balance, the colour and makeup. But when you put this guy on some of the other figures, it does work a lot better. But I suppose we ought to have a look at the other one. On Maxriller, or right, there's Mvu Bird on Max Dozer, and again, look, it's got the owl head on the top, and then you've got the wing bits out the back. Again, it gives it a different look. She's got Mvu Bird's got a lot of transparent green going on, as well as the blue. The blue does match in with the blue on him, and then you've got the white, which is a new colour that is added into his colour palette. Yeah. The Samba gimmick, I will admit, is the reason why I decided to go all in with this toy line. Because I kind of like the way they implemented this figure, even if there's some eccentricities about it. Like when you pull the chunk off the vehicle, you're left with not much of a vehicle basically. But the swap and change nature of these Samba pieces is pretty cool actually, and that's what prompted me to go in and buy the entire line. But unfortunately, this guy, like I said, there are things about him I don't like. I don't like the look of his bulldozer mode. I don't like the look of his base robot mode. I think he looks very generic as a construction former. And then you couple to that the price I've had to pay for him because he's scalper bait, and then all that grief I had last month trying to get hold of one. And yeah, I'm not a fan of this thing, to be honest. I don't hate it. It's a decent toy in itself, but what happened to it is just enough to, really, really ruin my opinion of it, because I look at it and I just think, you cost me money, you bastards, You cost me a lot of money, and and you made me a lot of grief as well, So yeah, all that is going on in my head when I look at this thing. So yeah, that's why if you look on the thumbnail, it's got the frowny face on it. It's got the sad face, which means I don't like this thing. It's not his fault necessarily, I mean, he can't help the way he looks, because of the Samba gimmick. And what happened to it is not his fault. It was the fault of that particular seller on Gmarket who decided he didn't want to ship to a guy in the UK, and he says, "Oh look, this item's on low stock. Oh, I can say that it's out of stock and cancel his order. I'll relist the item. Oh shit, he's done it again." It's anyway. So there we go. Hello, Carbot Samba Max Dozer. He is the last figure from the Hello Carbot Samba toy line that I've got. I've got all 6 of the basic figures now. All that remains is for me to get the combiner, which is what's happening next month. So I'm going to be throwing down on the combiner, King Guider, next month. King Guider in himself, he's a combiner made up out of 2 figures. But one thing you need to know about King Guider, he's a horrendous parts former. Even the basic figures, they're parts forming. To transform them, you have to parts form them, and then when you go into the combiner mode, you have to basically pull the whole thing apart like Lego and just piece it together to get the combiner. It's a horrendous parts former, but it looks pretty cool in combine mode, and the individual bots aren't too bad. And I think, fingers crossed, I'm going to be able to get one for a decent price off Global H Mall, because they've got it on their books at a fairly sensible price, in fact one of the best prices on Gmarket. So hopefully, if they've still got some in stock come next month, I'll be pulling the trigger on it. And I might, even if there's enough money left over, I might even do a cheeky purchase on one of those new Hello Carbot minifigures as well, because I've got my eye on Sky Gunner. Hello Carbot Mini Sky Gunner. I might be able to get him. But anyway, that's next month. Long way to go till then. I've been TFI Wilderness. Hopefully you found this review interesting, even if I think this toy is a bunch of arse because I had a lot of grief trying to get one. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I will catch you all next time. See you then. Bye.